What's good, everybody? This is Dario Hunt from Living Life Fearless, and I'm back with another reaction, this time to Not All Heroes Wear Capes by Metro Boomin. So, let's talk about it. So let's be real for a second. When it comes to this new generation and wave of artists, oftentimes, seemingly more than not, the real star and MVP of the show is the producer. And when it comes to this new wave of producers, Metro Boomin is definitely at or near the top of the heap. Maybe second only, let's say, like Michael maybe. He's oftentimes brought up as one of the producers who will carry the torch forward from the likes of the Dre's and Timbalands out there. And no matter how you may feel about his particular style of production and the type of artists he works with, it's really hard to argue that he doesn't have the hits to back that up. But with all that being said, he's been pretty quiet since 2018. You really haven't heard him on an entire project since, I don't know, maybe Big Sean's Double or Nothing project, and that one wasn't well received. But apparently he had been quietly cooking some stuff up, and he has hit us with, his own little project. Coming in at only 13 tracks, he features a lot of the artists that you would kind of expect him to work with and people that he has already worked with in the past. There's a lot of tracks on here with 21 Savage. There's a lot of tracks on here with Travis Scott. Sway Lee makes a couple of them. And there's one track with Gucci Mane, along with, some other names you might expect him to hear, like Offset and Gunna and who's the other one off the top of my head? Like Young Thug. Young Thug is on here a bunch of times too. But I was surprised to see that Future didn't make this cut, considering that Future, I think, is probably the artist who really broke him, and a lot of his biggest hits have come from him. So to see him not be on this project after such a long hiatus was a bit surprising. Now, Slim Jimmy not being on there, not so much. I get it. I mean, he is kind of part of Race Rumor, but at this point, it feels like he's almost unnecessary, but I'm sure he probably feels some type of way about that. Right after a first listen, there really aren't too many songs on here that jump out at you and make you really think, oh, this is a Metro Boomin production that I've been missing, particularly the entire first half of the project, which starts out really slow. In fact, the entire project feels a bit slow and sluggish. Aside from Space Cadet and 10 Freaky Girls, which were cool songs, if not more fillers than anything, things didn't really start to get interesting until about Borrowed Love, and that was track number 10. A lot of his music has always sort of had a dark ambience to it, but I felt like it's always managed to still have a nice little pop to it that kept you invigorated and interested in what's going on here. A lot of these songs are just dark for the sake of being dark, and I'm not sure if it's because certain artists aren't doing the song justice or the production just doesn't really feel like it gets going too often. I mean, like I said, the song Borrowed Love and its subsequent one, Only You, are really only the few songs on here that really seem to pick the energy up on any sort of front. And they also happen to be his more pop reaching fare, and he does a surprisingly good job on it. I never really questioned his ability to be versatile with production, because we've seen what he did on Kanye's album. But on here, the variety just really wasn't all that prevalent. A lot of these songs really start to feel and sound the same. And when it comes to the features, I have the same complaint that I had when he did his joint project with Big Sean. It just doesn't really feel like they had any sort of rapport together or any sort of chemistry. He just put out a beat and somebody made a song to it. Outside of 21 Savage on a couple songs here and maybe Gunna on Space Cadet, none of the features really bring that much to the table, and he doesn't really bring out much from those features either. Even on the Bygone Drake song, it just really is not that interesting and pretty forgettable. And I'm not even much of a 21 Savage fan, if at all. So for me to say that he brings the most energy and brings the most life to these songs really feels like he missed something here on that project. Even the Travis Scott features, they just never really worked for me. Outside of maybe No More, but again, that really felt like a 21 Savage song. The songs aren't all that bad per se, and the production really isn't all that terrible. Would they rank among his top songs ever? Definitely not, but they're just not that interesting. If anything, his growth and experience as a producer feels more like a hindrance here because they feel overly clinical and too clean. They kind of lack that raw sort of sound that he first had when he first came out. they felt like if you asked a confident producer, give me a Metro Boomin type beat, and that's what you get. Producer albums are a largely hit and miss affair, more often miss than hit, and I really don't have that high of expectations for these type of albums these days because of stuff like this. It really feels, I don't know, phoned in. You rarely ever get the best production from them on those albums, and you rarely ever get a fully cohesive project. So if there's not a ton of hits here and he doesn't really do anything that's more interesting than he's done in the past, it's kind of like, what's the point? Maybe I'm being harsh because I loved a lot of his past work, particularly with the future stuff. But outside of a cleaner and more clinical sound that I feel like he's gained from experience, it doesn't really feel like he's evolved or changed that much. And compared to a lot of the other sounds out there, it kind of just gets lost in the haze. But for those of you that did hear the project, what did you guys think about it? Do you think he showed any real growth or evolution? Would you consider any of these songs some of his best work? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to head over to the official website where you can leave your own ratings and reactions to this album, other albums, and everything else I react to over there on the site. If you have anything you personally like me to react to, you can also let me know in the comments down below. And if you like any of the gear that I rock in these videos, like this or this, you can also head over to the site and grab some for yourself. As always, thank you guys for joining me. If you are liking these videos, please smash that like and subscribe button for me. Other than that, I will be back shortly with more reactions. I will check you guys soon. Peace.